Where is it written that all our dreams must be small?
Well, we got through our first 3 games of the qualifiers yesterday. Now we have just a couple more for you here today. We're back with the Titan League, not the regular season, but the qualifiers. I'm Chaka, and joined next to me is Puffer Bob. But before we get into our games of today, before we get into our first game, actually, Puffer Bob, how are you doing?
I'm doing quite fine. Hello, Chaka. Hasn't been a while since I've casted with you, but this is going to be interesting. I mean, it's Titan qualifiers, most definitely some strong teams coming out to play, and it's not going to be any different today, as we're going to be watching NeedONE Agency facing off against Myth. Now, personally, I don't have much experience seeing them play, but the players in their teams most definitely are, I guess you could call them fan favorites, and Myth will be bringing in, of course, Stacks and Swiss, who I think most of us already do recognize. And then also, just to kind of, put it in, we're also going to be seeing some more on the side of NeedONE, but yeah, no, definitely two strong teams, and I'm excited to see them.
Yeah, for Myth, you guys know them in Talent League as Jobless. For Myth Esports, at least they are mainly just a Dutch org with a bunch of players from a bunch of different nations mixing together to form as one. For NeedONE Agency, if you're mainly a French or Frenchie, then you would know who they are because they're mainly a French org with primarily French players being involved in that team, as most French orgs do primarily have French players involved in that. So yeah, both of these teams may be well known across Europe. At least for me, I know most of who Myth Esports are. Swiss, I've seen on Twitter quite a bit. I've watched a couple of some EU leagues. I can't quite remember. There was a really popular one, but anyways, regardless of that, I know who Swiss is. I've seen him around the block a couple of times, and the same thing goes for Stacks too. I've seen him on Twitter. I've seen him around the Twitch feed whenever I've been watching Siege and whenever I'm bored and I just want to hit up some T4 leagues in EU or NA. But anyways, regardless of that, well-known players on the side of Myth Esports, NeedONE Agency. I don't think so, at least on this side of the block.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, Myth also does have, I guess, from some unknown sources. We're also going to refer to them. We're not going to today, but they are also known as Jobless. From inside the Talent League Major, so that's also a bit of an interesting fact then and there. And of course, yeah, I mean, before we actually get to know more how these players play, to see them in action, let's actually go over the map that we're going to be seeing today. And this is going to be Clubhouse. Now, it's not Oregon, nothing too bad. So we're already off to a great start. Clubhouse is pretty kind of common, but it's not the same as Oregon, so we're completely fine with it. But yeah, with that out of the way, I mean, pretty much these teams, like I said, they haven't faced off from what I've known, and I guess it could be their first time, especially in Talent League. Although, you've said NeedONE Agency is a French org, and, including that, they also competed in Gamers Assembly recently, which, of course, ironically would also be a French LAN event. Now, they also participate mostly in D-tier leagues, so, not too bad at all. We have some sort of kind of view on what their game sense could be, most definitely, and Myth as well. I mean, we said Stacks and Swiss are playing, which are both some sort of, kind of related to T3 players, so we could be getting some pretty heavy frags today.
Yeah, like you mentioned, just like NeedONE Agency, Myth Esports have also participated mainly in the D-tier leagues or just in that bottom tier, but you still have some good experience through Swiss and Stacks who have been around the block and have had that higher level experience, if you will. Pretty good players on that team, but for NeedONE Agency, just like Myth Esports, they are also both of them undefeated in the Titan League quals so far.
Ooh.
Not one of them has dropped a game, and I think this will be a firecracker of a match. Clubhouse, though, at least if we're on the topic of map ban still, is a surprising one for me because when I've done my research on NeedONE Agency, and I've looked at some of the maps that they do like to ban, Clubhouse was pretty far up there. So to see them bring it out today, I'm just wondering, what are they cooking?
It's kind of, never hurts to try. I guess maybe they're going to be experimenting a bit more today. And I mean, hopefully that ends out a bit more well for them. Because I mean, Clubhouse, it's an interesting map. You can kind of go many ways around it. You can focus on breaching. You can go bans against that sort of breach playstyle. It's really a lot of ways you can play Clubhouse. So, with that in mind, I mean, most definitely to kind of switch around it now and then. But yeah, like you said, I mean, kind of not going for what your usual pick would be, especially in the qualifiers. Okay, even if you do necessarily lose this match, I don't think you're fully out. So, I mean, with that in mind, it shouldn't be too bad to test things out. And if it works out in the end, it's a new experience to say the least. But yeah, no, this is gonna be. To be honest, let's just put the question: do you have any predictions?
I mean, no, not really. These are both evenly contested teams. We couldn't have gotten a better matchup. Again, both teams are actually undefeated in the
Okay.
Titan League Series qualifiers. Um, among other teams actually. And speaking of one of the other teams that are actually undefeated in the Titan League Series quals, NeedONE Agency. they have a academy team in here, NeedONE Agency Esports, I think it is, and they're also undefeated. So obviously, both rosters are completely competent in the quals so far, and they can battle up here with the best of them, at least in the qualifiers. That's yet to be seen in the regular season of Titan League because we haven't gotten there yet. For Myth Esports, they're obviously undefeated as well. They have some good experience, some good players as well, and I think it'll make for a good matchup. So I don't know. I don't really like to make prediction in matches like these because it's so even. It doesn't really make sense for me to go ahead and just make them.
Fair enough, fair enough. We don't. It seems like it's a bit of a kind of an equal team against face-off, so we can't really say much, but it'd be just fun to give it a bit of a guess. So yeah, for me, I'm just gonna say let's see and watch. I mean, we're getting to the bans right now, and starting off on attack, I mean, I'm just going to say it straight out. It's going to be Flores, most definitely. I would say Flores is just on most maps a strong operator. And the Dokkaebi, there she is. Especially with her EMPs, just with the gadget. She's insane. Maybe she doesn't have the best guns. I mean, even a DMR is strong overall. But, okay, she doesn't have an LMG. She doesn't have 100 bullets in her magazine. Yes, that's correct. But it's the gadget that matters. And the second attack coming out will be a Maverick. Also not too much of a surprise, but hey, since this map is kind of main breach and hatch focused, not too much of a surprise. But what would you say for defense?
For defense, it could go either way. A Solus doesn't really surprise me at all because I think she's quite good in the current meta. Drones are a necessity on all of the maps here in Siege, and you want to keep them safe. So by banning her outright, you keep them just a little bit safer. Of course, you still have Mute and Amazi to play around with, but the last ban, at least from NeedONE Agency, is going to be the Kaid. Hatches on the basement site in particular are an absolute necessity to guard, and Kaid just makes them all the much harder to actually get. And with Kaid and with Mav being banned, those kind of go hand in hand together. If you're gonna ban Maverick, you might as well ban the Kaid on this map.
Yeah, it's kind of how it used to work. I mean, now instead of Thatcher, it seems like Maverick's gonna get picked out. And also, banning the arcade kind of forces the main bridge onto the Defenders. I mean, if they're gonna be going CC in any case, or even Jim, you kind of have to force on a Mute or a Bandit, because that becomes a problem, because then, grenades can come from below, you can get shot from windows, all that type of stuff, so it's a lot more of a dangerous situation, and you can't really multitask. Let's say you put it, with Kate, you can just put a claw on the bridge away, or maybe just stick around it. Yeah, with Bandit, you gotta stay there, and with Mute, it's just a lot easier to breach, so yeah, a very good pick on the Cade. You said Solus in the meta, that's most definitely accurate. I mean, with just how easy it is to pre-place a drone, and then, just have an entire area covered. You can pre-place drones on stairs, an entire floor could be covered just by one guy watching them, so and that's absolutely off the tracks. I mean, she also could be considered a pulse up at some point. Pulses sometimes do play below to try and C4s the players that are planting, and with Solus you can see the diffuser when it's getting planted, so yeah, but besides that, I mean, bans are pretty normal, doesn't seem like anything off the hook. As we're getting started, it seems like it's going to be a bit more of a garage push. They're going to be focusing on just trying to roam clear for a second right here, yeah, most definitely, which is what you want to do. You don't want to just rush first floor and then get flanked from above. And yeah, with that in mind, I mean, it's going to be a bit more split-ish. It seems like Jan is just going to be putting some pressure from outside these windows, and then garage fully. You want to take lobby, you want to take lounge, not lobby, yeah, you want to take lounge, progress onto stage, take out the hatches, and then just push down blue, main, whatever you really want.
Another interesting thing about the the map, it seems to be an interesting setup here from NeedONE Agency. Playing around the first floor is the Cab Kid to his advantage. Know that there was an Ayana clone to at least spot him out, and the first kill almost goes through to Myth Esports, but they get away in the nick of time, throw a nitro cell up on the top floor above the mirror, just below that main stairs, and you could probably catch a kill. But I mean, another operator that hasn't been banned out here is the Azami, and she's gonna be played immediately in this round. And that could be crucial for Myth Esports if they want to try and break down this site even further. They're going to use the hammer in order to make some vertical angles, and they still have the bug alive too. So no team losing any of their players can still look at these zombie barriers, and they can put a prob layer on.
Yeah, most definitely. Azami's also one of those operators that is currently in the meta. Besides Solus, with the amount of kind of protection and just lines of sight she can to the attacker, the lines of sight she can deny the attacker, it's most definitely one of the stronger operators. But yeah, I mean, without that, she's also... It's either going to be a Zami or Solus. You can't have both, because then you also need to focus on Cade and maybe on some maps of Valkyrie. So there's always going to be a very strong meta operator on that map that gets slipped through. But yeah, last minute on the clock right now. Frags will start. Most definitely dropping as the first one comes out. It's going to be Ace onto the Capcan. And yeah, right now hatches are open. Pretty much all control is seized. And now just the execute. This is the execute. And let's hope they don't hold it down to the last 20 seconds. There isn't necessarily like a smoke or a Tachanka that can kind of... But yeah, there comes the Yings, a 3v4. Ben gets the refrag, making it a 2v4 actually again. Ben getting taken out himself. Diffuser is planted, and the Zami and Echo are a bit low, so it seems like, yeah, it's going to be a double kill from Stacks, and yeah, the Zami gets pushed. She actually manages to take out the Buck, but before she can finish the job, gets taken out, and yeah, I mean, that's also a thing Ying. Ying is a very deadly operator included.
The fact that Ying isn't banned neither. I mean, she doesn't really see a lot of ban time, at least on the clubhouse. I think she's more suited for basement executes and just basement executes alone. She can execute onto that second floor too if you want to be a little bit cheeky with it, and that's exactly what you see. Choco on mid. Picking right into that Ying. You see the second floor pick as well coming out from NeedONE Agency, but that seemed like a pretty easy swift attack there from mid Esports. There was nobody really watching the main stairs from inside of Armory. I felt like that was the Zami's job, and they just got the church wall open. The Capcan was up on an island inside of church. No real support coming into him, and it just turned into an easy plant for Esports. You saw some plant denial as well through the Echo. That didn't really do much. It didn't even dissuade the planter or the Ace or Swarm off of that plant neither. Just a really all-around good attack from Esports, but NeedONE Agency not really covering all of the angles that they needed to when the attack came in.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit rough on the edges right at the very end. I mean, the frags started coming out and there wasn't much refrag potential to be kind of seen there. I mean, the Zami was trying her best just holding off Armory, but Church got and then the plans came. The Echo didn't really have an opportunity to kind of cancel that out either. And of course, with the Ying combined, it's just kind of a whole lot of chaos. But yeah, let's actually head on to this round. It's an interesting extension we have right over here. I go way into cash. Well, didn't really call it interesting. It's kind of a bit more default, but pretty much the point is with kind of sites like Gym and, you know, I guess you could call it downstairs as well. You do want to extend or at least roam to some extent where you don't give off too much ground to the attackers. For CC, you kind of do it a bit more lightly on, you know, on rafters and on construction, but that's about it. With these sites, you really want to heavily go over to cash, go over to construction, just to make sure the attackers can really get a hold of that, because then you're literally just stuck inside with all the attackers kind of throwing their gadgets, their utility at you, and with nothing to really defend yourself, and with like probably a minute or more still on the clock, you don't really get much from that. So yeah, the extension right there is what you need, and of course, right now the attackers, they need to take advantage of that. They need to kind of push the defenders out and also do it in enough time so that they also have execution and they don't get pushed out themselves. I mean, it seems like there's gonna be a small bit of verticality from the Yana right here. Omai getting pressure from below, breaching from the Ace also onto CC wasn't too bad, but yeah, this Omai's right now wasting some good time.
It comes in from below. It's not at all effective to the Omai because he's not really sitting in a position where the nade was in the first place. So the nades, or at least one nade being used from Swiss and no good avail, but Chaco, which is just walking into that hallway in from the Jacuzzi breach. And you only have the Frost here to watch. He walks right back out, tries to get some intel, but for now you get that intel and you get a frag in favor of Esports, followed up by one from Chaco. And just like that, a 5v3, 55 seconds left on the clock, and Esports, well, they have some semblance of some control.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice one for the two, just kind of finishing it off one nicely. I mean, the Frost wanted to take out that Thermite. She was holding a nice, really tight angle, did manage to execute it properly, and yet again, these are kind of shots that you miss that could be game-changing. It's hard to hit them. That's most definitely to put into the case, but you know, the attackers, if they hit them, then it's kind of a bit of an exchange and unfair fight in the end. As Basher gets one onto Chaco, an instant shot. The MP5K in hand is going to be away with another one. Swarm managing to pick off one, gets the second, and of course, Ice finish off onto the mutant bathroom, or yes, the mutant bathroom. And yeah, that was very good. I mean, the defenders seemed to clap back for just a bit of a second, but that exact same second also seems like the attackers were not. Actually, the defenders clapped back, yes, the attackers didn't take it so lightly, so they decided to shut it all down. I mean, they had the ground covered. The defenders left their position to kind of shut down the attackers, which ended up allowing the attackers to kind of just go in and, of course, finish the job for themselves. And yeah, I mean, without further ado, I think round 2 is going to be going. Round 2 did go to Myth, and round 3 shouldn't be looking too bad either.
Yeah, for Myth Esports, it didn't. I said they had like control. I meant that in favor of like the kill spread, not really in favor of like the map control. And I felt like that was one thing that NeedONE Agency had in their favor. Yes, Myth Esports did get the opening 2 kills, but NeedONE Agency still had players in areas of the map that were very crucial in denying entries. All they had to do was win their gunfights, and they didn't. Like, you saw a crucial one lost in construction, a crucial one lost in that bathroom area, a crucial one lost in logistics. And I mean, that's just all the story there is. Myth Esports, they have experience on their team, yes, but they also have really good fraggers too, and that showed in that last round because they were able to win every single gunfight. In the end of it, at least the crucial ones, and NeedONE Agency weren't able to.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, pretty much it was kind of Myth Esports just getting some sort of shutdown and kind of choking out the NeedONE Agency side. I mean, like I said, the NeedONE Agency had to leave their position to get their frags, meaning they were just dents in some spots, which, of course, the attackers took full advantage out of. I mean, with that in mind, it was most definitely a bit of a quick pick for the defenders. It was looking like they still had some sort of like availability to them, but in the end they got shut down just like this Jaeger. Sledge coming in hot, L85 in hand. Does he get the second? Yes, he does! What a shot onto the side, actually onto the side of CC, all the way from rafters, taking out 2 roamers, I do believe, very quickly. It's not even 30 seconds, this is what I mean. They're not winning their gunfights, and you mentioned it as well, Chaka, which is our point, and yeah, 2 roamers just got taken out like that, and it's 30 seconds into the round. I mean, they have full ground, there's 2-man advantage, and I mean, what do you do? They have way more utility than you, and okay, you know, it's better to take out a Jaeger and a Kapkan than, let's say, an Echo and an Azami, because the Jaeger and the Kapkan already set down their utility, that's right, but it's still frag potential you're losing. It's still some sort of, you know, it's still a loss, most definitely, and to be honest right now, what I would want to do is probably use this Ben C4 to the utmost advantage. I mean, if he can get a C4 frag, that would be very useful, especially on like a Buck or a Sledge. Some sort of verticality gets at least shut down, and I mean, up until something happens, the attackers are right now just putting so much pressure on the defending team.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unfortunate in that opening engagement to lose it as the Jaeger, but then Axman, he had to try and go for the refrag. He's on an island on that second floor. Eventually, some way, somehow, he's gonna get fragged upon. So he has to try and go for that isolated kill. At least if you do get Slayers, there's no real criticism on you because you killed a crucial part to this attack, which is the Sledge, to make these defenders feel uncomfortable. The construction is being done above the site, Swiss on top of Moto Hatch. You can tell that Myth Esports, they're going to make their execute, and they're going to make it quick. And you have 3 extra pressure points in order to make this execute happen from.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, right now, it's 14 seconds on the line. Yeah, there it is. There's another kill from the side of Choco. Bad manages to take him out, but the final kill also comes out from the side of Sledge, and most definitely, I mean, how they've been performing is absolutely off the racks. I mean, the Sledge went on to Garage, took out 2, and to finish it off nicely, just instant refrag. I mean, his teammates get dropped, but there's not a second thought. He just takes them down without even taking any type of hostages, I guess you could call it. But, I mean, the amount of kind of frag potential and just strength Myth is right now emanating is absolutely off the racks. I mean, gunfights, strategy, and then the efficiency. You also want to have some sort of speed on you, you know, and without the soulless, that's what I mean. Pre-play drones can come in useful. They could have droned out those 2 in Garage, or pre-play drones could have, you know, kind of called them out so quickly. Kind of just went in, The Sledge could have gotten those kills because of that intel, and that's exactly, I'm just putting an example if that were to happen. That's exactly why Solus is probably to get banned. And yeah, it was a ban from Myth Esports, so I'm guessing it was most definitely intentional, and most definitely it is working out in their favor a bit too much. And you know, it's interesting, we're not going to be going to CC right now, we're going to be going down into bar. So an interesting side we used to not even see at all. This was considered a meme site back in the day, but you know, these teams managed to kind of, competitive always managed to bring out the best in something and the potential. But a possible spawn peek coming from the side of Ben onto Chaco, the Thermite, the diffuser gets dropped. A very good pick for the early round. And I mean, what can I say? You know, you got to take the risk. High risk, high reward.
First kill going in favor of NeedONE Agency comes at a crucial time. One thing that's been on the back of, well, our minds and what we have been saying is the fact that they haven't really been good at the gunfights. But you know, that's not really a gunfight. That's just a spawn peek, and Chaco really had no chance of taking it unless he pre-fired first. And Stacks doesn't have an opportunity to shoot back. He's gotten shot up a little bit, and it seems like it's been again to be a nuisance on his first floor. NeedONE Agency to get up to a good start, to do a lot of damage, to get the first kill. And I mean, onto a player like Stacks too, it leaves him worse to work for the gunfight, something that NeedONE Agency have been struggling in.
Now, I mean, it's a bit unfortunate how NeedONE is a bit, yeah, like struggling, it seems like. And I mean, also that alibi right now, that right there could have been a kill. In the Myth situation, if let's say Stacks were playing alibi right now, that most definitely in our spots would have just been a kill right now. Onto Cash, an absolute pre-fire into the head. I mean, alibi did actually manage to retreat. You know, she didn't die and she wasted the time, which is good. But it's that type of frag power, or that kind of Myth is right now giving off, and it's 3-0. They have won 3 out of 3 rounds right now, and they're on the attacking side. Defense would be preferred on Clubhouse. It's kind of like a similar situation to Oregon. You know, it's been in the game for so long, it's not really hard to attack, but it's better to defend. And yeah, right there as well, Ben taking some heavy damage, and okay, there's Predicality isn't being just put off just yet, but I'm assuming pretty soon it's gonna be. And okay, Ben getting the double kill for himself. It seems like NeedONE's gonna be getting a better hang off of this match, as you know, it seems like Bar suits them a lot more.
I think they're warming into the matchup quite a bit. Dam's even getting himself on a score sheet. It's the first kill for him inside of Clubhouse. Swarm is able to refrag though. But even then, the advantage lies solely in the hands of NeedONE Agency. You have Slayers though, creeping up the basement stairs, making his way all the way up the main stairs, and nobody from mid seems to figure him out until now. He takes that gunfight with the Echo, loses it outright, and what could have been a kill and what could have been a way back into this round for mid seemingly has disappeared into nothing. Swarm on very limited HP, and he's gonna get swung by the Echo, and it's NeedONE Agency to take round 4 and to finally put themselves up on the board. A good one for them to claim, and that should boost their confidence just a little bit.
You know, yeah, most definitely. Moments like these kind of give you the confidence you need, or kind of the boost you want to have, just to kind of keep on progressing. You know, you got the round out of the 4. Let's go. Now you don't want to let Myth kind of get back onto their track. You just want to keep them off it, push it away, and you know, kind of keep it in that stalemate. So just keep doing what you're doing, and it should be ending, I mean, pretty fine. Doing it a bit more safely at the start, and then the aggression came in a lot more late, which did manage to work out, guys. I mean, we saw from Myth, okay, in early of the round, they were extremely aggressive, and aggressive at the very end. They were most definitely going through the frags, going for the kills, and, you know, kind of switching between paces for the side of Agency could be working out for them. You know, 1 second you're a bit more defensive, so they kind of adapt to go a bit more aggressive on you. The next section, you're peeking them when they don't expect it. So if that's the sort of plan they have in mind, it most definitely could work. But yeah, we're just gonna have to see. I mean, we're going back into gym, and you know, I'm kind of surprised we're not going to be seeing much of a castle, though there is a point that Myth has been bringing a sledge pretty much most of these rounds, if not all of these rounds. So yeah, castle on windows really wouldn't help that much. It would get destroyed one way or another. Just like a waste of 5 seconds. So, you know, yeah, not bringing a castle is probably the way to go about it. Maybe switching him out to Thor which also isn't too common of an operator to see in just competitive from my experience in general. I mean, I feel like she's good, but she doesn't really, she isn't like, you know, you can always use her in that situation. She's just, if you can use her, you can, but there's many other preferred operators like Smoke, Tachanka, stuff like that. But yeah.
Castle's a pretty popular one on the second floor site. Even if there is a sledge in play, yes, you'll automatically probably get those castle barricades. But usually you'll have people play around the castle, so it's not as easy as it seems. And usually if you have a castle, you'll probably play early in the, or you're probably aggressive in the early round to try and get a first pick. And if you get a sledge or if you get somebody who can deal with those castles quite easily, it's a bonus and a plus for you. With Slayers, gets the first pick along with Swiss. And just like that, they've completely discombobulated this east side hole that NeedONE agency have, but not without an answer. Ben onto Chaco. That takes out the Thermite, and I don't even think he got Jacuzzi Wall.
No, it doesn't seem like it. I mean, there's going to be a lot of rotation coming in from the side of top main. As 1:30 on the clock right now, Ben is sitting safe and sound right now in Logi. It seems like Sledge is going to be on his back any second right now. And yeah, Ben already noticing that Sledge is going to be confronting him, but there's still that can be used. He could be getting taken out any second. And the attackers still have time to drone, you know, they still have time to gain intel that they need, and this is where it's going to get a bit more aggressive. It seems like Oryx is going to be a bit more cheeky, maybe trying to get a bit of a run out. Seems to back off, and oh, what a shot onto the balcony. It seems like Thatcher getting taken out. A very early nade onto the Thorn, though. It seems like the Sledge will be using it, and of course joined with the Yana. They're going to be nicely finishing it off. A bit of a chain of events to just end the round and get themselves the 4th round out of the 5, and round number 5 for themselves. So, you know, going on to the last round before, you know, the role swap, their score, Myth is right now looking really comfortable. They are most definitely, without a question, kind of leading the way, even though in bar, like you mentioned, agency kind of adapted. They got a lot more warmed up, as you could say. They sadly don't seem to be able to continue that streak, or they were just completely shut down by Myth, kind of just overlaying their own streak. So, you know, yeah, this is going to be a bit more tough, to say the least, but maybe NeedONE can maybe pull off a bit of a, how would I say that? A bit of a shtick on the attacking side.
Esports are doing a good job, at least in the attacks. When you think of Clubhouse, well, back in the day, it used to be extremely defender-sided, at least on the primary 2 sites, gym, bedroom, basement. But as people have started to figure out Clubhouse, aka it's been in a map pool for what seems like a million years at this point, the attack has had a fair bit of chances on this map to at least get some attacking rounds on the board. So for Myth, a 4-2 half wouldn't be too surprising, but I think it's the way that they're claiming these rounds that could be a bit shocking, at least for a lot of people. They're winning the important gunfights. It's not like NeedONE agency aren't necessarily putting up a fight. It's the fact that they are, and they're not really winning their opening engagements, or not really winning their engagements at all. In that last round, you give up 2 opening kills, and just like that, in this round, you give up 2 opening kills yet again, and a 3rd. And Chaco, look at that, a double kill on the cards, and we could be seeing a 5-1 half on the attack here on Clubhouse between NeedONE agency and Myth Esports.
Well, they kind of just started dropping all of a sudden. That was a bit of a domino situation right there. One after another, they seem to fall, and it's a 5v2 situation for Myth, which, I mean, this situation is almost 100% securing them the win. There's no C4s, no kind of explosive potential they have for verticality on the defensive, so you can put that out of the match. I mean, the attackers right now have all the time in the world. They have 2 minutes with 2 players on the defensive who are going to have to play outside. I mean, it's kind of the only option they have. Even then, Myth is right now playing it very safe, you know, droning everything out, checking out just kind of the first floor to make sure, you know, they still don't get flanked, something doesn't go wrong. You know, you don't want to get cocky, which is exactly what they are not doing, and it's what they should, how they should do things. But he's coming out. Hatcher's going to get open any second right now, and I mean, okay, yeah, they still have smokes to their availability. Maybe Malusi gadgets that could help them out. Never mind. Gadgets are still there, but the personnel is not. Malusi getting taken out. Nades are getting bombshelled onto the smoke, and a flawless round with the G36 in hand, and of course, no mercy. It's gonna be the 5th round for mid. Oh god.
5-1 half here for Myth Esports. Unfortunately, with NeedONE Agency as well as Myth being undefeated in the Titan League Series quals, it may all be for naught, because we could see NeedONE Agency claiming their first loss here in the qualifiers, but they still have an attacking half to go. It could just be an attacker's side of Clubhouse, and I mentioned it earlier on in that round. Clubhouse has seen its fair share of attacker advantages at times, especially on some of these more neutral sites. CCTV Cache, Bar Stage, and even at times Gym Bedroom could be a neutral site for the attackers, because you don't really have a lot of space to anchor in, and you're forced to really make a lot of movements around the map, which can unfortunately sometimes split your defense up, make them too far spread apart, and it can make going for trades quite difficult, at least on the defensive side of things, which makes it very easy for the attackers to isolate you at times. So we could see Myth Esports put up a blunder on their own defensive half. It's not too out of the park, or it's not too out of left field to see NeedONE Agency as well get themselves a few attacking wins. You see, at least for Myth Esports, their first primary site choice is going to be revolving around a basement side, but I mean, if you look at their lineup, you can tell that they're going to extend across the map and at least have some sort of hold on the first and second floor through the castle, the Mazi, and the balcony. And
yeah, I mean, I believe it was the SSG hold that kind of brought in the castle and the Mazi just to extend from downstairs all the way up another floor and even further. So, you know, putting that into mind, I mean, kind of using this aggressive type playstyle, not even playstyle, just necessarily, oh my goodness, there comes a double kill from the side of Myth Esports, and another one dropping. I can't even get a word in. Oh, it's a 2v5 situation yet again. They're not only taking words out of my mouth and kind of stopping my sentences, they're stopping my communication skills. What is this? I mean, NeedONE Agency, they were seeming like they were going to push Garage. A team kill comes out. That's one. And it seems like, yeah, Buck right now could be getting also taken out any second. But yeah, a team kill coming out. Another one from the side of Ramp. And then to finish it off, just the third. And of course, the MPX comes out. Buck gets taken out. And it's a 1v5 situation. And this is where NeedONE Agency kind of would recommendedly need to realize that 1vx situations, especially 1v5s or 2v5s, almost like on right after the repeated one, is not a good situation. But you know, if it happens, it happens. I'm assuming right now Hibana's wasting time so they can talk things through. A chance of a comeback is very low. I'm not even gonna, you know, try and root for them, but it's they can still get some rounds in for themselves, which wouldn't be too bad. And using the time to talk is the best way to go about it. And yeah, a smiley from the side of Stacks.
Yeah, I mean, a lack of communication in that early round unfortunately ends in a team kill, and I think they were kind of going for like a double swing in a garage. That's what my initial thought was, and that double swing unfortunately turned into a team kill, and then the first kill going in favor of Myth Esports. Basha does get a kill, maybe for the confidence, and maybe just for the scoreboard at least. It's 2-6 now. Myth also 6-2. I mean, you can just tell the direction that this game is going in. I'm gonna be honest, sometimes, at least in some of the rounds that I've been watching, I don't think NeedONE Agency have lost the rounds strategically, or at least with their setup and the way that they're playing it. Again, the gunfights are just going in favor of Myth, and that's really what has been screwing them up a little bit. And I mean, in that earlier engagement, like I mentioned, a double swing and just a lack of communication and a team kill that ended up in them. And I mean, at the end of that, look, Swiss, that's not really necessarily a show of experience, just a show of dominance. And a good night in chat, sweet dreams to you. NeedONE Agency is 6-1 half, or a 6-1 lead for Myth Esports. And I mean, it's looking quite bleak. It could be the first loss for NeedONE Agency inside of the Titan League Series qualifiers.
Yeah, I mean, kind of put them to sleep like most of these rounds. I mean, it's a 6-1 score. It's on match point. And with how Agency have been performing, like you said, I mean, it doesn't seem like their strategy is bad or anything like that. It's team chemistry, positioning, frags, and mostly communication. I feel like those would be the main factors. Just playing as a team together would probably improve it. But yet again, I'm not a coach. I'm not gonna have too much of a word in this. But I mean, the difference right now is showing. That's to say the least. You can strats all you want, but it's the team experience that you actually need to kind of build up that momentum, that timing. Like you said, a double swing that doesn't end up in a team kill, and it just kind of, you know, in the end, I mean, it really is. When it comes for Myth, they really do most definitely give themselves a push to shove situation, and Agency doesn't seem to have any say in this. And I mean, we're going to see a very rare sight to see nowadays, which I mean, back in the day would be the most common sight, because bandit tricking would still be a thing. And I mean, it seems like Stack is going to be bringing it out, I'm assuming just for the old time's sake. And yeah, like I said, it's a really low chance for Agency even to win, unless they just uncloak themselves and they suddenly become G2, but I doubt that's going to be happening anytime soon, as, I mean, yeah, Agency just not having a really good shot at this.
It's been a tough match for them so far. It's not like they've been doing anything wrong with their setups, at least in the defense, because that's what we primarily been able to take from. But it's just been, like you said, communication at some points, positioning at some points, which makes them very liable for an easy frag. And that really doesn't really have anything to do with strategy. It just has something to do with, like, maybe a little bit of lack of experience, and then just the gunfights, mechanical skills favoring Myth Esports today. And I mean, you have people like Swiss, you have Stacks as well, who can shoot back, but the first kill goes in favor of NeedONE Agency, and it looks like they want to go in for a rush. Oh no, not really. I called that wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. It did seem like it was going to go a bit aggressive from one second to another, but they decided to cancel it off for a second. I mean, they got the first frag onto Swarm, and the zombie player, which is also a good pick. Doesn't matter, though. Stacks getting another one onto Ben. Ben seems to be, oh my goodness. Yeah, Ben seems to be kind of the hot hand of Agency, the fragger, at least for this game. And even though he seems to be getting shut down quite frequently, and I'm not sure if someone's sneaking up rafter stairs currently. I don't know if that's the Wamai just kind of mixes an opportunity right there. It doesn't, yeah, someone is going to be pushing Garrett's side though. And although right now there is pressure, most definitely on the attacking side there is pressure, but the aggression isn't there as it is for, of course, Myth Esports. The run out comes out. It seems like Lion's going to be getting taken off the board, and oh my god, this is going all the way down.
Oh, down on the cards. That's, well, not even Tim's. That's actually Slayers on the top rafters, and these kills go in favor of Myth. They just keep coming on in, and they keep coming on in. And Myth Esports, they take the serious and emphatic 7-1, a thumping in favor of them. And it's the first loss from NeedONE Agency, but Myth Esports, they continue in the qualifiers, flawless as can be, as flawless as a diamond.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, you know, it was a quick match. That's mostly what there's to say. I mean, the amount of fragging there was from the side of Myth was absolutely insane, and the shutdown was also the shutdown plays, and kind of the difference in skill right there was most definitely shown. So there's not much to say besides, I guess we're just gonna wait to get into the next game, unless Chaka, you have something to say.
No, not really. Good game for Myth Esports and for NeedONE Agency. It's just a quick little VOD review to see what went wrong. Yeah, that's really about it. We'll see you guys.
Yeah.
We'll take a quick break, but we'll still have some games going on later today. This isn't the only one. It won't be the last, and we're not done with the Titan League just yet.
Ooh, very nice.